I remember happily the first time I picked up a D20, and the player's handbook seemed like this magical doorway to create heroes I always wanted to be. My first adventures with my friends were filled with exploring dungeons, fighting monsters, and we either made the town safe, or we filled our pockets with treasure, or both. But when we became invested in our characters and settings, one of the topics that would always come up in one form or another would be about crafting. Maybe there's a magic weapon like Excalibur we wanted to create that would go perfectly with our characters. Maybe we wanted to make our own magic potions, or maybe we wanted to compete against a local blacksmith and create our own business. And in many years of playing RPGs, one of the greatest adversaries that has impeded these ideas are the rules. Crafting rules in other game systems can be frustrating. Paizo's Pathfinder Second Edition RPG tries to answer this with the crafting skill found in the core rulebook, but it's not a perfect solution. But now they're coming out with new crafting options in their newest source book, Treasure Vault, coming out in early 2023, and they have given us permission to reveal the secrets of crafting. Roll the intro. Thank you everyone for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny, and today we're going to talk about something very exciting for fans of Pathfinder Second Edition. Treasure Vault is a 224-page sourcebook for Pathfinder Second Edition that is filled with new magic items and optional rules. Paizo has given me permission to talk about Secrets of Crafting, a chapter that is only 20 pages long. I've been waiting for a book like this to come out from Paizo for some time. I love collecting magic item source books from different game systems like Treasures of Middle-earth by ICE, Book of Artifacts from Second Edition D&D, and Palladium's The Compendium of Weapons, Armors, and Castles. Source books like these are not only great for expanding your choice of items and weapons, both normal and magical, but they're also great sources for storytelling ideas. And Treasure Vault is all that and more. There will be a future video where we will do an extensive review of Treasure Vault, but today we will just focus on the Secrets of Crafting chapter. I want to thank Paizo for sending me an early PDF copy of the book and to allow us to talk about this fun section. And please, if you find this video informative, please like and subscribe. Before I begin, I want to thank my players, John and Nelson, for helping me write the content for this video. As you can tell from my voice, I lost my safe throw versus illness twice this holiday season, and they stepped in to help during the worst parts. Thank you both. I promise the next game we play, your character's death will be swift and painless. Secrets of Crafting contains three main sections: crafting alternative rules, nature crafting, and story-based crafting. One of the major criticisms about the crafting skill in Pathfinder Second Edition is time, whether it be an axe, or a chair, or a sheaf of arrows, or pottery, or most items. It will always take you about 4 days. The skill doesn't allow for more complexity and flexibility. So does this chapter offer solutions to that issue? The first section of the chapter, Crafting Alternative Rules, begins with complex crafting. The time to craft can now depend on whether the item is permanent or consumable. You can now rush to craft something or take your time. And being an expert, master, and legendary in crafting can reduce setup time but may increase the difficulty class. Not going to lie, I had to read the section a few times to understand the math. I can see why they opted to have a simpler crafting system in the core rulebook, because besides calculating setup time, you have to calculate how much materials and costs you have used up as well. They now have a new Feat 7 skill called Quick Setup. You need to be a master in crafting to attain it, but anything consumable that is 6 levels lower than you can be set up in 1 day, while permanent items take about 3 days. But if you rush the setup, you can make consumable items in 2 hours and permanent items in 4 hours, if you have the tools and materials, of course. It does warn game masters that this feat can affect your campaign, so ponder about this before having this feat as an option for your players. The crafting alternative rules also has a chart for crafting downtime events if you wanted to add some fun side quests to hunting ingredients, like for example, finding out that one of the ingredients they need for crafting is illegal in this part of the world, or somehow the material you need has become a magnet for certain types of malevolent spirits. There's a section about critical crafting for those like myself who wondered if there should be an additional effect when you rolled critically on your craft roll on a special or magic item. Maybe you created a unique magic wand or a super healing potion, or accidentally created a doorway to hell. With magic, there's always a price. At the end of this subchapter, there are rules about deconstructing magical items. If you have a magic item that you don't need, but have a creative idea of combining it with another magic item or adjusting it and more, you can add deconstruct with your alchemical or magical crafting skill. Rolling well on your skill determines the percentage of cost of the item that is saved. Nature crafting is a marvelous subchapter and definitely my favorite part of this section. These optional rules grant players and game masters a different perspective. Instead of melding or fashioning materials to create an item, you grow it. Using your alchemical, magical, or snare crafting skill, you use the grow skill instead to create what you need. There are great examples here of items you can grow like wood and stone armor and stone, bone, and core weapons. But that's not what the best part of this chapter. You no longer need specific laboratories like blacksmithing shops, for example, to craft your items. You can create your own garden of wonder almost anywhere. And the word garden is used loosely. It can be in the woods, in the kitchen, haunted churches, rock gardens, and much more. In this book, when they talk about haunted churches, this is what they wrote. A cleric creates a living scroll factory from parchment scraps, one from contract devils and mummy wrappings, producing eerie-looking and presumably evil scrolls each midnight that explode into black flame the following midnight. Any of a variety of undead or extraplanar creatures might serve as the central seed for a religious garden that supplies the character with scrolls, catalysts, and other thematically appropriate consumables. That sounds fantastic. You can use forgotten cemeteries and old battlefields to craft bone weapons, or old swamps can be your laboratories for elixirs. Instead of leatherworking shops to make your leather armor, a druid can craft leaf weave armor from their garden. Location is no longer a hindrance for crafting. So these are now not the only options for your characters to craft your items. There's also a section about bestowing gifts from these gardens as a type of treasure for your players, but it's mostly suggestions for game masters. The third part of this chapter, story-based crafting, is also a section for game masters. I spoke previously about making Excalibur. This section gives game masters the tool set to create an adventure around that idea. It's the section with the least amount of optional rules, but it has suggestions about treasure players can receive per level, how to build a story and begin this adventure, gathering the right components, and where to find them. It has 3 quest examples you can use as templates if you are serious about going in this direction. Forging a holy sword, weaving the wizard's robes, and a magical Viking armor. Each template gives you ideas of the monsters you may encounter, story ideas, and the components you need to fashion them. There's enough quest info, in my opinion, for each adventure to last at least 4 games if you want to play these templates. But now you have the structure you can work with to making your own adventures. In conclusion, if you have players that want more out of their crafting skill in Pathfinder Second Edition, this is a fantastic chapter. The book overall is amazing. I can't unfortunately go deeper than that till we give a review in a few weeks, but what I just talked about is only a summary of 20 pages. Imagine what the other 200 pages can offer you. Thank you for watching. Now that I'm feeling a little better, I'm going to go online and see what's happening in the world. Hopefully Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast didn't do anything to embarrass themselves. Till next time.